Hello guys and welcome back to Chaos TV. We are in the game for Team SoloMid up against TCM-Gaming. This is sure to be a very good game. What I heard is TCM-Gaming before, if I'm not mistaken, Vince, has beat TSM practically every time. Am I correct in saying that, or am I completely wrong?
I think it's the last two or three times these two have met. TCM have came out on top overall. So yeah, I mean, this really should be a very good match. Perhaps even a bit of a grudge match here, NZ.
Yeah, absolutely. So are we going to see any level 1 fights? That's the question that's going to be answered very shortly, possibly. So TCM is segregating around that top bush as Nunu will come and join the pack as two wards are on the race over here, top race left side. And it looks like Chaos and Odd One are segregating around the bottom bush. So it looks like a blue invade coming in. But the question is, are they actually going to take that blue buff? I see many teams nowadays, they go in towards the jungle, they just basically give the little scare and then they just run back off to their jungle. So the question is, are they going to nick this buff as the CV does go down? So there is vision all around this area and they do not see any TSM players. So the recall will come in from Valix and Wolfsies because obviously they are the bot lane. As they will get the wolves up there as TSM will go for this invade as well. They are all in this bush around the blue. So it looks just like a blue for blue as Dyrus is going to get this last piece of wolf. So he does know an invade is going on. Dyrus has to be very careful. 3 players around that bush, but he is going to take the safe way round and he is just going to go back towards his lane as Odd One will pick up that blue buff as well. So, you know, blue for blue. Nocturne hasn't used his smite either, so he still has that to use. Maybe just go straight towards the red and get that as well. So yeah, blue for blue, no real level 1 fights, and that is about it.
Yeah, not using his, but Nautilus feeling that he had to pop his one off there. But actually at bot lane, quite interestingly enough, NZ, and I'm not sure necessarily about this one. Obviously, Cogmore definitely aiming for that mid to late game. He's currently took cleanse, and the reason for that I think is due to the fact obviously they are facing off against the likes of Kennen and such. So he doesn't want to get bogged down with those stuns for too long. But the problem here is that they don't have too much sustain in their lane. Noon obviously doesn't offer any heals, and Cogmore himself doesn't have any heals. So basically they're facing off against an Ashe and Soraka who can just stay in that lane pretty much all day long as they like. So you have to fancy them to kind of push Cogmore and Nunu back fairly quickly.
Yeah, definitely a bit scary. I mean, he hasn't got heal, like you said. So Chaos can stay in that lane as much as possible. Obviously has gone with the boots and pots and has Soraka in lane who can just keep spamming them heals away as Valix hasn't got a heal at all. So he has to be very careful he doesn't push the envelope too much and just overextend and get absolutely dominated from the likes of Chaos and especially when a possible Nocturne gank. Nocturne, one of them champions they, you know, wait until level 6 and that's where the real ganks start to come in. So I can only guess the Odd One is just going to keep farming away quickly as possible, get to that level 6, go for the counter invades as well, as Nautilus will get his race, as Odd One gets his as well. As Nautilus will go down towards the wolves. Nocturne maybe going for a jungle invade or maybe even a gank in mid, but Bergson is pushed up here. So Nocturne is going to go into the opposition jungle. He's going to come around the corner and see Nautilus any time soon. We could see a confrontation between the two junglers as Odd One will go on towards Farfame. Riptide has been popped, but there is the fear, and here comes Kennen, and he has to flash away. Ignite's been popped, and Bergson with the first blood. Brilliant play from Odd One and Bergson combination there to pick up that first blood. That was too easy for them as Nautilus did get caught out around the wolves. Bit unlucky, but a nice fear from Odd One, and that is the first kill.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about will the communication be spot on? There's your answer, a resounding yes. As soon as Nocturne saw Nautilus there on the wolves, he saw Kennen instantly dart up there as well. So that was predetermined, the communication was spot on, and definitely good first signs coming out from this TSM, with of course Bergson stepping in for Reginald.
Absolutely, and that's going to give Kennen a nice tasty advantage and a little bit of a gold difference. Obviously got 400 gold for that first blood. As we see top lane, Dyrus has pushed Kungan back so far as he's made him recall. So Irelia going back very early. Dyrus can just get this farm, no problem whatsoever. What's the farm looking like? 31 to 12. So top lane, Dyrus doing a very good job. Nautilus is going to have to try and do something to shut him down, but now he has died as well. He's going to have to try and catch up in the jungle, so it's not good times for that top lane or the jungle as well as Transfusion comes on towards Dyrus. He's just going to push back now, maybe go for the B. Yes, he will. He has no health pots, and he has a nice farm to go with it. As Nocturne will go back as well. Kennen back already has that Hex Tech Revolver, as Nocturne will pick up the Vampiric Scepter and the Longsword, building towards that Wriggles, of course, as Anivia is just going to stay in the mid lane as well. Let's have a quick look at the mid CS. Kennen on 32 and Anivia on 34, so pretty even there. Kennen did just go back, got the first blood as well, so he is going to be a very happy Kennen.
Yeah, and I mean, as we said before, Enzi, about, will the Valak's decision to pick up that cleanse come back to bite them in the backside? Definitely appears not to be right now. Ashe is one of those AD carries that doesn't necessarily start with great base stats, and obviously that is working into the favour of Cogmore, who has just been pushing this lane all day long. Is actually ahead of Ashe, or it's very, very even, with Cogmore on 43 and Ashe thereabouts as well. So Cogmore's doing a great job so far, and as we said time and time again, Enzi, the later this game goes on, Cogmore is just going to get scarier and scarier.
Absolutely, we just have to really watch out for when Nocturne hits level 6 and when he goes to maybe gank towards that bot lane, but he looks like he's waiting in that mid bush for maybe a potential gank on towards Anivia, or even a little bit of harass. Of course she has that passive up, although Nautilus is coming towards top lane. The ultimate was popped on towards Aurelia, not going to do too much damage as Nocturne did come out the bush there and did get spotted from Anivia. And he is going to back away as well, maybe going for the jungle invade, but it looks like he is going towards bot. No, the CV does come out. The blue is not up just yet, but he's going to wait around because blue does come up around 7:10. And he's just going to wait around. So Bergson maybe going to push this lane anytime soon and go and help his comrade of Odd One in that jungle. But Nautilus is coming down as well. We could see yet another confrontation as Soraka with X Special is going to come towards the river, maybe going for all, but no, is going to go towards that blue buff as well as Anivia is coming under heavy pressure. Fit has been popped, but Odd One is going to go back as he is all alone as Cogmore is coming to join the cavalry. Dredge Knight on towards Odd One. He has to get out of there right now, although Kennen is around as well. Anivia has come to join the pack as Iceball goes out, does miss Odd One by literally an inch, and Chaos is going to start that blue buff right now, so they're definitely going for the steal. We could see a very early team fight, 4v4 going on here, as the bot lane, mid lane, and the jungle will all fend off. Dredge Line and the Ice Ball did hit on towards Odd One, but they are just going to back away. So a very nice invade once again with them timers. Odd One going to pick up yet another opposition blue, and is doing an absolutely splendid job at that counter jungling.
Yeah, in the meantime, I mean, you can see that top lane once again. Dyrus is completely bossing that Irelia. 58 creep score to around 29, so nearly doubling that one at the top lane. And it's just basically domination right now from Vlad. I mean, he's level 7, Irelia 6, having to go back once again, second or third time that she's recalled already. And of course, this is just going to allow Vlad to get even further ahead on that creep score, and of course on the XP chart as well. Looking good for TSM at that top lane.
Absolutely, Dyrus has checked in at domination station as he will get that creep farm as well as his minions will push. Probably going to go back now as the lane is pushed. Irelia is coming back, but Nautilus is coming around the corner. Dyrus is on about half HP, but he should be able to get away no problem. He has actually used his heal as well. That's going to be on 190-second cooldown now. Didn't actually get to see that. Maybe Irelia did try to pressure Vlad, and Vlad was forced to use Flash, but hey, who knows. But let's have a look at bot lane. Cogmore is currently on 60, no, that's Vlad, sorry. Cogmore is on 56 to Chaox's 69. So in fact, Chaox is out farming Valix right now at that bot lane. And Chaox, when Chaox gets fed, he can literally just carry a game. Such a good AD carry as well. He proved it at IPL 4. And it's just going to be interesting to see as Nocturne is going to go up towards top. He is level 6, so we could see an ultimate coming in. Irelia is rather weak with that 4 CS, and she is in that bush level 7 to Dyrus' level 8. As he is obviously going to wait for Irelia to show herself. But she is just waiting in that bush, waiting for that creeps to get pushed. As she still hasn't revealed herself. There's Ping's going ahead. She did actually accidentally just reveal herself right there, but obviously Nocturne needs vision to jump on towards Irelia, and we could see it anytime soon. As here comes the Odd One. He's on the prowl, and he's ready to pounce on towards Irelia at any time possible. He's been waiting here for about 10 to 20, maybe even 30 seconds right now, as Irelia has revealed herself as well, but that minion farm is getting pushed, and Odd One is going to have to back away, but they might go for a cheeky jungle invade, although Nautilus at that bot lane is waiting in that bush, but I can just tell, no, Nocturne is actually going to back away, but bot lane has to be very careful. Nautilus in that bush, and he is ready to maybe pass on towards X Special. Nunu and Cog is there as well, so it'll be a 3v2, but obviously X Special has them heals to his disposal, so TCM has to be very careful of this level 6 tower dive if they do go for it. But they are just going to wait around, and really this is just going to the disadvantage of that bot lane right now. I mean, Nautilus has been staying there for a few seconds, Chaos is practically at his tower, he kind of has to go back soon as Chaos is just freezing that lane. And nothing really going to come of it, I don't think. The most that Nautilus could do is maybe go for a dredge line, but he dredge lines a minion, so that time is wasted at bot lane, and he's going to lose a bit of farm. Let's have a quick look at how Nocturne's doing. 54, and Ash Arrow comes in, does just miss Anivia. But yeah, Vince, that is definitely going to hinder Nautilus's jungle quite a bit.
Yeah, it's funny actually. I was watching Saint Vicious's stream a couple of days ago, and he was completely burying Nautilus as a jungler. He was saying, like, why would anyone play this character? He's so bad. And thus far, Nautilus hasn't necessarily been having a terrible game. Of course, he was the recipient of that first blood at the hands of the Kennen before. But, you know, you have to say Nocturne has been much more active. Nocturne, of course, does kind of pose more of a threat globally with his ultimate. So, as time goes on, I have to feel Nocturne edges ahead slightly more and more.
Yeah, absolutely. So Nautilus is going to get them Wraiths right now. Nocturne on 56 to Nautilus's 52. But obviously Nocturne did stay up top himself for quite a bit, trying to get on towards Irelia, but nothing really came of it. As Darius is going to consistently push that lane, as Anivia will go back as well. Let's have a quick look at creep score with Darius, 105 to Anivia's 71, so not good stuff for Irelia at that top lane. Anivia did just go back. What did she get? She's got that Catalyst and the Blasting Wand as well, along with a ward to go along with that, and a health pot as well. As maybe TSM are going to gather for this dragon. Chaos is waiting around that bush, maybe even go for that jungle invade on towards blue. It is due up anytime soon. The ward does come in towards the bush, but Odd One cannot wipe that ward before it goes up fully. Anyway, we could see a team fight hitting off here, and as Anivia is there as well. Blue buff has spawned. Darius is down here to join the cavalry as well. They might go for this blue buff and then go for that dragon. If they can pull it off, then that's definitely going to be good. And while they do that blue buff, while they're occupied, that pink's down and they're going to get a free dragon. Brilliant play from TSM right there, really putting them off, just thinking, okay guys, let's just make them think that we want that blue buff and then go for the dragon. We have a pink ward down, there's no wards around, and TSM played that beautifully.
They just knew exactly what they were doing. You know, there was no kind of hesitation. As soon as that blue was up, as soon as they saw some of those TCM players pushing towards blue, they just thought, okay, quick dragon for us, no problems, then we'll pull out again. The fact that Irelia was at top lane as well, trying to catch up with the early pressure that Vladimir had applied so well. Basically, they were in a 4v5 situation. Had TCM even came down, I doubt that TCM would have won that team fight regardless. So yeah, TSM looking very strong. Currently about 3k gold ahead after 13 minutes. Looking good for them. But surprisingly enough, NT Nocturne hasn't really been ganking too much with the ultimate. You know, we kind of hyped him up, we bigged him up as a character, but so far he hasn't really been doing too much.
I don't think he's really had a chance. I mean, top lane's been consistently pushed by the likes of Darius on towards that Irelia. Kungan really losing out to Darius up there. And bot lane, you know, it's been pushed. It's kind of back and back, you know, at bot lane. You know, sometimes Ash is pushing, which is Chaos, and sometimes Valix is pushing. It's kind of backwards and forwards. So I don't think he's really had the, you know, them big opportunities to kind of tower dive. But, you know, now he's getting towards level 9, level 10. He's going to come in with them tower dives, and we could see more ganks coming in from the Odd One, from that jungle. But again, Darius pushing that lane, and Irelia forced to go back. Irelia currently on 91 creeps to Vladimir's 121, and that is a big margin at top lane. And a fed Vladimir is a good Vladimir for TSM, but for TCM, that is very, very bad.
Yeah, especially when TSM are currently rocking out 2 Will of the Ancients as well. They're double stacking it, which is just going to be pure pain. When that Hemo play goes down from Vladimir in team fights and Kennen pops off the Slicing Maelstrom, that is going to be some real terror coming in from TSM onto TCM, of course. So definitely one to watch out for as this game progresses on. Would expect Kennen to be picking up the Hourglass probably next, or maybe in 2 items time, and Vladimir should probably going to be going towards that Rabadon's death cap. Either way, top lane I think is under some attack right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I really did just go down, and Nautilus actually forced the flash away. That was literally too quick to even interrupt you, Vince. I mean, Nocturne ulted in, and the damage from Dyrus was just too strong. They got the kill very quickly indeed. They looked to be going on towards Nautilus, but Nautilus was forced to flash away. So nice stuff coming out there. On the other hand, bot lane Valax has got that tower down, and the top tower does go down in courtesy of Dyrus. So there's the first gank from Odd One that we've seen. And it is a very successful one at that, as he is going to get them raised right now. As the ward is actually down, so they do see Odd One going towards them raids, but Odd One is just going to back off towards his own jungle as Anivia does farm them creeps. Chaos and Egg Special are going to get them golems right now. And, you know, it's kind of steady paced. TSM just slowly farming up. But really, what it looks like now is in team fights, TSM are going to absolutely dominate. They've got that farm down. They've been denying certain lanes like top and the jungle. And they're going to be very, very scary, especially with that Kennen ultimate and the Vladimir ultimate coming in, like you said, and especially with the double Wotan.
Indeed, and I've just seen that Vladimir went back and bought up a chain vest, so perhaps he's going to be going for the Hourglass as well. Of course, Royale's Crystal Scepter, just as good for Vladimir, makes him very tanky. Of course, he scales off both health and ability power. Very, very useful items for him. So, and he's looking good right now. You have to say that Dyrus has been bossing that top lane. Even though he went down to pick up that Dragon, I really had free farm for about a minute or two. He is still about 35 creep score ahead of her, and Kennen on 158 creep score in that mid. So looking very, very strong indeed.
Absolutely, Nautilus has actually gathered himself towards that top lane for a gank on towards Dyrus. It depends if Irelia can deal the damage to make that gank a success. Nautilus is going to come in, and it looked like Irelia was kind of out of place there. She wasn't really prepared for it. Nautilus came out, and by that time Irelia was kind of walking back there behind her minions, and nothing is going to come from that gank as Nautilus will go towards mid. Nocturne is in mid as well, so it looks like TSM maybe wanted to take this mid turret down quite quickly here, but as you know, as that's happening, Kog'Maw at bot lane is just getting that free farm. Ashe is currently on 156, the Kog'Maw's 152 despite that tower going down. So TSM going to go towards this jungle invade, maybe going to go for a tower dive of some sort. They have Chaos there, so if he wants to pop the helmet off, to pop the arrow, he has the ability to do it. Maybe blue is up very shortly, I do not know. Haven't got a timer on that one, but Kog'Maw has been spotted. Pings are going out as Nautilus and Nunu are very curious on whether to come into this jungle or not. They haven't got the ward coverage there. They see Kog'Maw in that bush. Dredgeline did just miss X Special by an inch. They're just out of range. Chaos is going to start this blue buff. It actually has reset as Nocturne is there as well. Darius is making his way down as the volley does come out. Renegade, who is Old One, did try and go for that still, but the ooze came down, wasn't able to get in towards smiting range. The ping goes down in that ward as well, so TSM haven't got the ward coverage in that bush anymore, but they should be able to get this mid turret down. They have Dyrus there as well, although Irelia is coming down from the side as well, so we could see an engage coming in here as the ultimates are getting popped off from Kog'Maw, but they are just both got to back away and do their own thing.
Yeah, and if you look at the items for Kog'Maw, he's picked up Wriggle's Lantern, he has a Zeal and Berserker's Grease, so he's going to be very quick with those attacks. With his W, going to be doing a lot of damage. Ashe has picked up the BF Sword and a Zeal with Berserker's Grease with a whole load of Doran's Blades thrown in for good measure, so she'll probably be going towards that Infinity Edge, and of course, as you know, NZ, Ashe with Infinity Edge and Phantom Dancer is serious pain. So as this game progresses on, just like Kog'Maw, she's going to be inflicting all kinds of hurt on the opposition.
And on the opposition of TSM, which is obviously TCM, Kog'Maw did go and opt for that Wriggle's Lantern instead of that BF Sword and has picked up the Zeal as well. Obviously going to build towards that Phantom Dancer. Dragon is up now, and here comes TSM. TCM are getting this Dragon here. The wall does go down from Anivia. They could get this Dragon, but Nocturne is going to jump in. Who gets the Dragon? Well, TSM is, as Kennen comes in, dealing a whole load of damage, but Bergson will pick up the kill. Odd One could go down, but the damage from Kennen is absolutely immense. He will pick up the double. Dyrus will get a kill of his own as well, as Irelia will go down, and what an exchange there. 0-3. TSM winning that team fight 5-0 and picked up the dragon. So a nice smite coming out from Odd One to finish that dragon off. And altogether, TSM just looks so strong. I don't see how they can lose this game at this point.
Yeah, at this point, it's going to have to be Team SoloMid that throw this game more than TCM winning it. I mean, they're going to have to win at least one or two team fights in a row with TCM to pull this one back just all even. You can see that goal difference is already 7k at 20 minutes. That is a big difference. You can see now that Kennen has finished off that Riley's Crystal Scepter. And this is the power of an early double Will of the Ancients, Enzi. In that fight there, huge damage coming from Kennen. Hemo Plague from Vladimir was dishing out all kinds of damage itself, so it was a very quick clean up there on the dragon. As you said, Odd One doing a brilliant job of jumping in with Paranoia and managing to steal a dragon on top of it all, so everything that could have gone right in that team fight did for Team SoloMid.
And the whole of TCM did actually focus on towards Nocturne, and Nocturne, which is obviously Odd One like we say, just flashed away, and he was absolutely fine because his team can do the damage and he can just come in, tank away, and then just flash away. And like we said, with that double woe, the damage coming from Kennen and Vladimir was just proven right there in the team fight. The play coming down from Dyrus there from the top lane, and Bergson in the mid. If you have just joined us, guys, Bergson is just stepping in for Reginald this game due to Reginald being ill, I've heard, but I really could get caught out here as Kungen has to back away as two players, well, they were gathering towards the top lane to try and help Dyrus, but Dyrus is just going to back away, no problem whatsoever. And now they're just going to farm up slowly. I think TCM know, they're going to be much weaker in team fights right now. That was just proven. They need to get some farm up, get a couple buffs, and maybe, then just maybe, go for a fight. Because right now they're about 7k behind, and that is never good in League of Legends.
No, it's not. I mean, as we said before, Enzi, it's still winnable for TCM. The game is not over just yet. It's still in the relative adolescent period of a game here, so they can pull this one back if they start to pull their finger out and start to win a couple team fights. But you have to say, Cogmore is going to really have to be their centerpiece. He's going to have absolute prime positioning in those team fights, trying to use that cleanse to its best, fullest ability when that Nocturne jumps in with Kennen as well. But there's just so much AoE damage falling down on TCM, so it's hard to see how they can pull this one back. The thing is, though, they need to keep Cogmore protected, and he needs to be able to pick up some kills. Right now, he's on 182 creep score, hasn't died yet, and he's very similar to Ash, actually, on that farm. But, of course, both dragons thus far have gone to TSM, so in that case, Cogmore is slightly behind. But the later this goes on, the stronger he's going to get.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, Cogmore kind of has to be their saviour right now because, as we've said many times, Cogmore does get better and better as the game progresses. He has got the Phantom Dancer and the Wriggle, so he's going to be doing quite a fair bit of damage. But compared to Kennen with that ultimate and now building towards that Hourglass after the Rylays is going to be very scary. And on top of that as well, Dyrus building an Hourglass on towards Vladimir. They basically have the same builds, except for that Rylays, of course, because Kennen has the more gold due to having 3 kills. Let's have a quick look at altogether. He's actually only got altogether 100 more gold in this game. Vlad has 1.1k, hasn't gone back yet, so he can finish the Hourglass if he wants, I do believe. If I am wrong, I do apologise, but it looks like TSM are gathering all together, going towards that mid lane right now. Cogmore has to be careful not to get caught out from that Nocturne ulti and the Fear. They will back away at just the right time as TSM go towards mid. Get these minions, no problem. Wraiths are going to get farmed up from Nautilus, and now it's just going to go to that stage where they're going to farm and they're going to wait for the right time to engage. TSM know they're stronger. They want to capitalize on this. They don't want to leave it for too long. They don't want to leave TCM, farming for too long. Otherwise, they could pay the price. Obviously, Baron is an option now as well, with 25 minutes nearly in the game in about a minute. So Baron, this is where Baron really gets on towards the cards and they really start considering it. This is when Soraka gets that Oracle and looks for them wards, but the ward coverage doesn't seem too good from TCM right now. Let's have a quick look. TSM with, you could say basically great ward coverage. I mean, you got one on the right side of the jungle as well, near that blue, the entrance to their jungle, the entrance on the left side as well, going towards the Wraiths on Baron, and on the opposition, I don't even think they have one ward yet. They have one ward to the exit of their jungle. They just put a couple more down, one in front of the red, one in front of Baron as well. So you can probably expect TSM are going to clear them ones relatively soon. But I think TCM, they're kind of just turtling it now. They're kind of waiting for the right moment, and they are going towards mid now, so we might see a fight kick off as they do see Ash towards the bot lane. But to be completely honest with you, with that Kennen damage, with that Vladimir damage, I would not be surprised if they take this 4v5 anyway. But it looks like both teams are going to go back, and yeah, it's just kind of a standoff phase, you know, Vince, and nothing's really happening. They're just farming up, and we're just going to have to wait for that team fight.
Yeah, but this is kind of going to play into the hands of TSM, you have to feel, because all those tier 1 towers are now down from TCM. So their kind of ward coverage and their kind of map coverage overall and map dominance is going to be lackluster compared to TSM. TSM can pretty much just push into the opposition jungle now, pick up those buffs, pick up the neutral creeps fairly comfortably, and when Dragon spawns, as it just has done, they should be favourites to take Dragons as well. So League of Legends is notorious of being a snowballing kind of game, and really I think that's what TSM are just going to try and do. They're going to keep applying the pressure. When they feel like they're strong enough, they're probably going to just try and push that Baron. When they get Baron, if they do, then just push it home for the victory. TCM need to just keep getting as much farm as they can on the ideal characters, such as a Cogmore and an Irelia. Irelia needs to be able to just hop across to everybody, using that Equilibrium Strike, just putting that Transcendent Blade down, trying to do a ton of damage, and hopefully TCM can win a team fight. But if it keeps on going this way, NZ, you know, obviously TSM, Team SoloMid, are going to pick up this game in the next 10 or 15 minutes, I have to feel.
Yep, an odd one, literally just soloed that dragon. Carrot came in for the support just at the end of that one as well, as Darius does go top lane. He is going to go towards bot lane as that mid tower is getting got right now. He's going to be 3 towers to 2, and if Darius can position himself well and TCM stay at that position, that maybe we could see a team fight. Nocturne actually popping the I think that might have been by an accident there. A bit off with that timing for, okay, let's go in. Then we're like, no, okay, let's just go back. So I think now TSM, they're going to wait for that Nocturne ulti to come back up. But TCM might think now, okay, they haven't got that ultimate, let's do something about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult to really put in-depth analysis on what's going on right now, guys, because it is basically just farming. You know, the Dragon's going to be comfortable for TSM. The goal is just going to be getting further and further ahead for them, unless TCM can do something serious, unless they can critically damage that TSM. They haven't got a single kill so far on the board, so after 27 minutes, that gives you an indication of how things have been so far in this matchup. They're starting to think, okay, maybe Team SoloMid are going to try and push this Baron. Unbeknownst to them, no, that's not the case. So they're going to try and get some ward coverage down. They have absolutely no ward coverage right now on the Baron, from what I can see, but they're just going to push that top lane, maybe try and get that top tower down, which will alleviate, of course, some of that pressure from them, because with that top tower down, it's going to be much easier for Team SoloMid to force that Baron.
And I'm just looking at the items on Cogmore, and he is going to be becoming a scary Cogmore. I mean, he's got the BF sword now, he's got the Phantom Dance, he's got the Wriggles, and the 1 Doran's Rings. Let's have a look at what Chaos has got. I mean, he's been AFK farming that bot lane for so long. Did just spend his cash. So what did he get? He's got the triple Doran's now, and the Infinity Edge, and the Phantom Dancer. So both AD carries look relatively strong right now, as it looks like a possible Bloodthirster or even a Infinity Edge going to be coming out next on towards that Cogmore. He has got 238 creeps to Chaos's 241. And they are picking away on towards his blue buff, so maybe another invade coming out from Odd One, leading the charge with that Nocturne. Soraka going to come up through the entrance of the jungle. Have they seen her through a ward? No, they haven't. The ward does go down there as well. That's going to be an easy blue still. And TCM are not even going to contest this. TCM look very scared in making a move right now. They didn't contest Dragon before when TSM got it, and they didn't just contest that blue steal. So they might have to start doing something about this, as it looks like a possible Baron, or maybe even trying to force a fight on Baron from TSM. They are going that way right now. There is no ward coverage on the Baron. They have no idea these guys are doing it right now. They're just kind of baiting around, they're pinging around, and they're just looking for maybe you know, maybe a TCM player just going to hesitate to that, just checking around there. But it doesn't look like they're going to do it. It was a attempted bait, and they are going to go for the trap, but that Cogmore armor is going to relieve the position of all 3 players of Darius, Xpecial, and Chaos in that bush, as Nocturne is going to stay on the Baron pit, obviously watching for wards that may possibly come over, and then Xpecial can go and clear that one. But TCM very hesitant in their movement. They know they haven't got the ward coverage. They can't push it too much, as it looks like TSM will start this Baron buff. TCM will come around for the right time. The ultimate from Cogmore is going to release the position of all of the TSM players. TCM are going to come around the corner. And here comes the arrow. The arrow actually completely missed. Odd One does jump in all alone and does hit the armor and the fear, but he has to flash away. Ignite has been popped. Bergson could go down here as he will come in, and that damage from Kennen. Vladimir Dyrus with the triple kill, and he is going to go for that quadra. Is he going to get it? Wow, that damage from Vlad. Soraka is going to steal that one, and Nivea will go down, and all that's remaining is Irelia right there. And I cannot explain that damage coming off from that Vladimir and the Kennen all at once. Vince, that was just insane.
Insane about covers it, and see, that was just basically, you know, I was going to say before that Baron kicked off, you know, all props to Cogmore for staying in contention with Ashe. About similar creep score, similar items, doesn't make any difference whatsoever when a Kennen and Vlad combination just jumps on your face and melts you in a split second. There's absolutely nothing that Cogmore can do in that position. Nunu kind of failed his ultimate in the sense that it didn't really do anything in that team fight. Nocturne, as he said, jumped in and flashed away, and it forced Nunu to actually pop that absolute zero without hitting a single person. So a couple of kind of slight mistakes there from TCM, but I don't think it would have made a whole lot of difference either way. The fact of the matter is, Dyrus right now is just way, way too strong. That triple kill coming in from Emo Plague and a Sanguine Pool just goes to show right now he is one strong, strong Vladimir.
Dyrus OP. Please nerf Dyrus, everybody, right? Please take note and just nerf Dyrus for us. But, you know, at the start of that team fight, when Nocturne went in, obviously Odd One went in, and he had to flash away, I felt, you know, maybe they can win this fight. They were doing quite a big deal of damage. And then all of a sudden, here comes Kennen, Bergson, and Dyrus, you know, it's like, hello, 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 damage, dead. And I was just like, okay, I'm just going to jump out the window now. I can't even deal that amount of damage. That is just... That was just insane. I mean, I honestly thought that TCM had a chance of winning that fight, but then Kennen came in, Vladimir came in, and then it just completely shut me up.
I'm not sure if it was maybe a lack of communication or if it was literally planned out that, you know, the Odd One with Nocturne would try and bait out a couple of those ultis, you know, the Absolute Zero, for example, from Nunu. And I think he scared Cogmore as well into using his cleanse a bit prematurely on top of that. So they kind of managed to burst a couple of those cooldowns off, and then, you know, obviously the rest is history. Kennen and Vladimir just rushing on in there and picking up the rest of the kills. And really, from this position, you have to say that TCM are looking very, very timid. They're currently about 14k gold behind Team SoloMid, and Team SoloMid with that Baron buff are just going to push the side lanes, try and take down one of these inhibs at least, and go back, recall, buy up even stronger, and then finish the game off. I really can't see how TCM can come back from this one now.
Absolutely. TSM have that Baron. They have the map control, as they will push this bot lane now, get another free turret. They have got 5 turrets to TCM's 3. And what they're really going to aim for now is an inhibitor. But I'm just looking at Kennen's and Dyrus's items right now. Dyrus with Vladimir has an Hourglass, a Rabadon's a Wota, and obviously still has that Dorian shield. And Kennen has an Hourglass, Ryleys, and a Wota as well. So the AP damage coming out very, very strong. Ashe did pick up that silver sash. She's currently on 0-0 to 7. So Chaos hasn't really been able to do anything, you know, he's just kind of chilling, because Dyrus and Bergson's damage right now is just great. If you're wondering who Bergson is, guys, he is currently murking in for Reginald, who apparently is ill, and he's doing a really good job, actually. You know, he's 3 kills to 0 deaths to 3 assists, went really good in mid against that Anivia, and big props to him. You know, he's coming in as a merc, and he's playing really well with the team as well. It just seems to work along with that. But, you know, Chaos, you know, he's kind of been overshadowed right now by the likes of Dyrus and Bergson right now. Not because obviously Chaos bad, it's because the damage from Vladimir and Kennen right now is just insane.
Yeah, I mean, Chaos is rocking out the bottom, 007, doesn't even care, doesn't even need to be a part of this matchup right now, because his 2 AP boys are doing all the work for him. But yeah, as you said before, they've both got the Hourglass, so the amount of AoE potential from them two, and then just to both go, okay, troll all, we'll both go invulnerable, you can't touch us for a couple seconds, then we're going to jump back out and murder you. It's just very difficult to see what TCM can do to bring this one back. I hate to be a pessimist, but it's 9-1, TCM are looking down and out in this game. But remember, it's best of 3, guys, so they can still come back.
Absolutely, as TSM obviously has that Baron now, want to make the most of it. They will go towards this tower right now. Dredgeline comes in from Nautilus of Farfane, maybe going for an engage there. Will go towards a minion though, so that's going to be on cooldown. Is going to be on right about now, so he has got the freedom to do that one. As Baron buff has literally just run out as I went to check. So the Baron buff is off TSM. You know, that's a real tongue twister. You got TCM and TSM, literally one letter changing in the whole tag. So apologies if I do mess that up. But Nautilus did dredge line in. He could be paying for that one, as the damage coming out from Chaos right now is actually really, really good. Has been the whole game, but we're just gonna have to see how the next team fight fends off. And I just want to see the damage that is dealt. And how TCM can fend this one off, as they will probably get this mid tower no problem. I'm really going to wipe that last minion out, so the tower aggro goes towards the odd one. Odd one is going to get out of tower range. As Vladimir will come and join the cavalry in mid now, as he does push that turret.
Enzi, I'm sorry to jump in, dude, but have you even noticed Anivia in this game? Because I sure as hell haven't.
I don't know, but team fight is kicking off. Dyrus has Hourglass actually very low indeed. Kennen comes in with the ultimate. Dyrus will get a kill, and he looks to be going down at first as well. Kennen will come in with a kill on towards Nunu. Irelia is going to fall as well, and it definitely looks like it's going to be the GG. But, you know, now you mention that, Vince, you know, I kind of haven't really noticed Olivia. I mean, she's been there, but she isn't doing all that much damage. Although she pops the wall, could land the kill on towards Dyrus, but he's going to pop that Shroud right there and get away. As it looks like Cogmore will go down probably as Chaos with that slow, but no, is he going to get away? Yes, he is! Kennen will finish him off. They're going to finish this tower off as well, as Anivia will finish off the minions, but it definitely looks like TSM going to win game number 1 of a possible 3. And how convincing was that? Vladimir Kennen duo right there. I can basically see that getting banned next game.
Yeah, I mean, if you kind of compare the two mid characters there and how their game fared, you had Kennen in mid from TSM. Obviously, it was Bergson from Western Wolves, but he went something like 505. I'm not entirely sure of the stats, but he was doing great. And Nivea, on the flip side, I really only noticed them maybe once in that entire game. There was a massive, massive difference in those two players throughout the matchup there. Obviously, that may be down to the fact that, you know, Kennen and Vladimir were literally just walking around hand in hand in those team fights, just absolutely decimating faces. But Nivea had a very, very quiet game, Enzi, and I have to feel that's potentially one of the reasons why TCM currently kind of got so dominated.
Absolutely. I mean, just mid kind of just got dominated. You know, Kennen Bergson, who was playing Kennen, you know, after that first initial kill, you know, it kind of just snowballed on. And TSM played very, very well throughout the whole game. Darius did a great job top, allowed him to get them items. And, you know, the counter jungling as well, you got to say from Odd One, was great. Chaos, you know, he did that job. He stayed in lane, he got the farm up. And, you know, you can't ask for much more than that, especially as the whole team is doing well. But guys, game number 2, I did just receive an invite. It is coming up very shortly after a few messages on your screen right now. Don't go anywhere. First game was not really close at all. So hopefully next game is a bit more even.